Shannon, how will this impact Dak's future with the Cowboys?
I don't think it impacts it much unless Dak Prescott sever his ties with Todd France. Now, he could go with Tom Condon, who's also under CAA. Ben Dogra, he's also under CAA. So, Skip, this is unconcerning to me unless Dak Prescott sever his ties with Todd France. But if he severs his ties with Todd France, Skip, he's not going to get some willy-nilly guy.
Yeah.
There's Jimmy Sexton, there's Joel Siegel, there's Buzz Cook. He's still going to get a heavy hitter.
That's true.
So if Cowboys, you think just because Todd France and CAA parted ways, now you're going to get Dak picking up some shade tree agent? That's not happening. So, Skip, you know how this thing works, Skip. You go get in a situation like this. For me, if I'm in, do something, Lord forbid, Skip, you gonna get a criminal attorney, you gonna get your homeboy, or you gonna go get you a heavy hitter? You're going to get you a heavy hitter. Dak Prescott's going to get a heavy hitter because he says, I'm a heavy hitter. So he's going to get one of these top guys, whether it's Todd France, and like I said, until I read something where Dak Prescott severed ties with Todd France, then come talk to me. But Todd France severing ties with CAA, that does nothing for me, Skip, because there are a lot of times we see CAA just tried to get all these guys up under one umbrella. That's why they got Todd France. That's why they got Tom Condon. That's why they got Ben Dogra. So, for me, this does nothing. He's going to get another heavy hitter if he severs ties. Drew Rosenhaus, Sexton, Siegel. He's going to get one of those guys, Skip.
Have you sent him a little DM saying you're available?
You'd
love to go to battle with Jerry Jones,
I just want to do the PR. Just let me do the PR. That's all I want to do, a little PR.
Okay. So, I told you from the start that I was told that Todd France is, quote unquote, overplaying his hand in negotiations with Jerry Jones. And maybe that's what was happening because that's how it played out because they got no deal at the deadline done.
Right.
So it appears that Todd France might have been overplaying his hand within the confines of CAA because I believe he wanted to take over the football operation from Jimmy Sexton, who runs it. And Jimmy Sexton apparently won that political battle internally. And it pretty much forced Todd France out. Because Jimmy Sexton has run the football operation, and he does an excellent job. And so...
he got a lot of players and a lot of coaches.
He does, but he's still standing at CAA. So now Todd France is out on his own. And I agree with you. This is probably just more bad news for Cowboy fans because I seriously doubt, and from everybody I've talked to, everyone seriously doubts that Dak will leave Todd France, even though he is now split from CAA. So they've come too far together, and it sounds like they love each other and that they're now a tag team.
A lot of times, Skip, people go with CAA or they go with these big agencies because of what they can do outside of that. Sometimes they want to get in television. Sometimes they want to get into movies. They want to do other things. And so it's a lot easier if you're under that umbrella.
And Dak will lose all those perks that you can get, all the amenities that you can get from everybody else at CAA.
That is correct.
Good point. So now we look at Todd France, and I say, does he now want to become the Scott Boras of football agents, the way Scott dominates baseball?
He does.
And Scott is a tough guy, and Scott's done a lot of great work for a lot of players, but he's alienated a lot of owners. And a lot of, many times that a draftee will go undrafted because he's a Boras client. So that's what you have to deal with. But all of a sudden, Todd France, so he had two other clients who were tagged, who could have had deals done before the deadline. Justin Simmons is a safety for Denver
Broncos,
and Bud Dupree in Pittsburgh. And neither got a deal done by the deadline. And DeAndre Hopkins, he also represents. And DeAndre got completely sideways with the Houston Texans and especially Bill O'Brien. And it started over money, and then I think it just got bad blood personal. And obviously, thank you very much, he wound up with Kyler Murray in Arizona. But you see where the track record is heading here. Todd France is a tough guy. He will dig in for the duration. So, again, it feels like that Dak is still, that we've seen the beginning of the end of Dak in Dallas. And I believe their big plan is, okay, we'll take the tag for 2 years, but they're not going to tag us for that third year at $55 million. So I'm assuming they're looking at maybe hitting the market after a couple of years.
Skip, I think the thing is and to give people some insight at home, when you're doing a contract, you sit down with your agent, and you try to, and he's telling you, okay, well, this is the market, and this is where such and this is what this guy got, and you're like, I want to be here. And so he's going to tell you now, it's going to get contentious. He says, how long can you wait? How long can you stomach? How are you financially secure? Because we might not get this deal this year. We might have to play under the tag. Are you okay with that? Because at the end of the day, Skip, the agent can do all he wants to. It's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott could have said, no, Todd. No, Todd, let's get this deal. The deal that they're offering, let's take it. Dak could have done that. And Todd France would have said, Jerry, we got a deal. But Dak didn't do that. And so I think people need to understand at the end of the day, it's like a financial advisor, Skip. Financial advisor could say, well, Shannon, I think we need to do this, this, and this. At the end of the money, whose money is that? That's mine. I want to buy a Ferrari. I want to get a house in Malibu. He can advise you all he wants to. At the end of the day, it's your call. At the end of the day, this was Dak Prescott's call. And Dak Prescott says, no, I'll play this year under the franchise tag. We'll revisit this situation again next year. So that's how that situation works.
But deep down, Dak Prescott has to now ask himself, is this more about your reputation, Todd France, or my best interest, Dak Prescott? That's what you have to ask yourself, because he has a growing reputation as a tough negotiator. And that could attract more big-name clients to him, especially the cream of the crop. They're going to want the toughest negotiator.
Look at what's cheering the crop, Skip, with Tom Condon. He had the Manning brothers. He had Drew Brees, LaDainian Thomas. And that's what you get, because those guys want someone that's not going to bow down, that's not going to back down. Well, that is a really good deal now. That's top-notch. They don't normally go there. I don't want to hear that. That ain't what I hired you for. Go get me my money. And that's what you see these guys. Skip, I mean, look, sometimes that's why it's so hard for guys starting out, because normally what you see is guys, they branch off. They start under Tom Condon, and then they go their separate ways. They start under Siegel or Jimmy Sexton, and then they branch off. It's hard to get into this business, Skip, right out of college and say, hey, man, I just got, just finished college, law school or whatever, finance school, and I want to represent you. Well, who you represented before? You be my first. No, I'm good. Skip, that's just the way. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. It's hard to crack into this business. Now, once you get into this business, do some good work, guys will flow towards you. But I don't see him leaving Todd France. And if he does leave Todd France, he's going to get another heavyweight. He's not going to get like Jerry. You get no breaks. So if you think he's going to go back and get someone, there's a reason why he went to Todd France to begin with. Like I said, CAA gets to provide an umbrella, Skip, that's unique from saying an individual agent. Because, they got a lot of movie stars. They heavy into the TV. They heavy into the radio. They heavy into these these products. So that's what they can provide more so than an agent that's on his own. And so maybe Dak wants to stay up under that umbrella. Maybe Dak wants to do TV. Maybe Dak wants to do radio or maybe movies or something like that. They can provide that. So, but even if he stays with CAA, look at what he's got, Skip. Tom Condon ain't bull jiving. Dogger's not bull jiving. Jimmy Sexton, Jimmy Sexton. He got a lot of coaches. I bet you 20 of the top 35 coaches. Not just in the NFL, he got college coaches too. So
speaking of umbrellas, Dak Prescott is playing under the greatest umbrella in the world. It's called the America's Team umbrella. and all of the subsidiary benefits that you get under that umbrella are staggering to me in national endorsements and in speaking appearance fees and all of the above. Just everything, it trickles down to you. Golden nuggets trickle all down to you, and you can make so much more being the quarterback of America's team than the quarterback of the Bengals.
Skip, but at the end of the day, you know what? You would know Dwayne Johnson. And he's like, hold on. He goes to a movie studio and they say, Dwayne, we want you to do this movie. But you just bought the XFL. You producing this show. And wait a minute. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Now, you want me to do this film. This is what it's going to cost. Dak Prescott told Jerry and Stephen Jones, don't you worry about how many endorsements I got. Don't you worry about what I'm doing. I'm the quarterback of this team. Pay me accordingly.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.